What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brendan and I'm BMX45 and today we're coming at you with another video. We have our market analysis for the Digimon TCG like we do every Friday. We're here to talk about card prices and we're going to be looking at different cards in the meta, seeing how things are going for them. We haven't done this in a few weeks. We've been focusing a lot on BT21, focusing on specifically the prices for the whole set. From pre-release to release to week one. Now we're going back to our usual program here. We're going to be looking at different cards throughout the meta, looking at different cards that are maybe doing really well in decks, ones that are just getting a lot of hype, or just cards that we think are seeing just price changes. So we're going to get into it here and talk about all those different things. And we have a good selection of cards to go through today. So I can't wait to talk about them with you guys. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. All right, here, so we're talking about Tai Kamiya to start off with. Tai Kamiya, of course, being a BT21 card here, it's one of the cards that is seeing a lot of price variation in it. So I wanted to talk about it and go into it a little bit more. You see here, what came out, and it had a giant spike and then slowly kind of cratered back down. Now this is the alt tie, the regular alt, because there is the low pull rate alt. I think the English exclusive, which is the 2-star, and this one here is sitting around $30, 30 to 40 bucks basically for this card here. So seeing this, doesn't bode well for the card. It's definitely not seeing a lot of value, but we're still waiting for metadata. We're still waiting for regionals. Someone were to take the adventure deck and did really well, and you played a bunch of these in it, then you would probably see this go crazy in price. I think people were already going a little bit crazy for it, but that has slowed down and kind of teetered off. And of course, you got tons of copies on the market because the set's so new. Another one that started to crater off is Davis. The new Davis had a bit of a spike. Again, you can see right there. It was lower, just high, 30s or low or high 20s or 30s, and then it kind of spiked right up there here, like almost 40 bucks, and then came right back down, and we're kind of back down, sitting in the $25 to $30 range. Last sold's 26. You got a bunch of copies below 30, so it's going to stay there for a while. We'll see again based on the meta here. Another one we're talking about is in relation to that is Magnamon, part of the same deck. If this deck does well, if we have a lot of Armor Rush show up to the regionals, we could see both these cards spike again, and you could see this card go over $100. But this is we've been slowly, steadily climbing. Kind of plateaued right here. But definitely we could see a spike in this as well, which could cause it to go over $100, and that would be like a ridiculous card here. And I mean, there's only like a couple copies, and then you're over 100 anyways, because this is getting to be an older card now. Another card we're looking at is X-Antibody. Gallimon, was doing pretty good in the last format, so we don't know where that's gonna, if it's gonna stay around this format. We have seen, it come down a little bit, but then it's kind of plateaued again and just kind of stayed in that, $50 to $55 range, which I think it'll stay for at least a little bit. It might go down. There's a bunch of copies. Unless there was like a massive buyout, unless it did really well. The deck, I believe, is always going to do well. In the regionals, might take a few spots. Not going to take like a big, huge, massive chunk of the spots like Royal Knights are. So I mean, yeah, I'd stay. This is kind of where it's going to be staying for a while. Card that, like, we're talking about Royal Knights, but like here you go, you got Omnimon X-Antibody. Which is actually curved down a little bit, but depending again on how the meta swings, if this deck is still taking like to a quarter of the top 16 spots, it's definitely going to probably go up again. Right now it's just kind of in a lull. $80 is still pretty good, but I could definitely see this popping back up here. up to like 90, 95 should the deck do well. And yeah, lots of decent amount of copies. I love how it goes like 88 and then 100. There's a massive jump there. So yeah, you could definitely see a buyout and have it go over $100. Be crazy. These are pricey cards. Another one we're looking at is Shadramon. I wanted to compare how Shadramon's doing with the foil special event pack and the P110 promo original version. So it's actually come down a lot. It's not, it was up at like 80, 75, 80 plus. You can see right there, it was just super high, and it's starting to slowly climb down. You can do a better place here. We got, under 50 for the regular edition, although the market is still a little bit over. And then even like this is below 60 with the market price at 75. It's starting to come down, and as we get more event packs, this will come down. Both those numbers will come down even more. So it's becoming more and more, viable to get this card. So maybe we'll see more Imperial Dramon decks, Virus Imperial Dramon decks when that happens. Dino B, although has skyrocketed, of course, this is not the super version. So, the alt has continued to like just and it's just a balloon basically right there, up to $66. I don't know if Paildramon was ever this high. I know it was always usually high 50s into 60s. I think Paildramon reached at least 70, 75. So it's kind of in the same realm as this. And if we look at the regular super's up to $10. So not as bad as the Paildramon, because the Paildramon got up to $20 to $25 for that super. So this super's not keeping the value like that. But definitely the alt art is keeping a lot of value. We have Medieval Gallantmon again. Just one of the best kind of like floodgate cards in the game. Used in Royal Knights, used in so many other decks. And it's continued to see its price just kind of stay in the relatively high range. It had a big bump here. It was up around 120. Came back down, 125. Came back down to, that 115 to 120 range. And it's just kind of continued to just trail along there. I think it'll be a long time before we see this card go down in price. It's just going to stay high because it's such a good card. And I mean, there's a handful of copies. They're all at 120, and then you go up to 125, 130 if you were to see a buyout. So definitely really expensive right now. Another expensive guy, but coming down a little bit, is of course Hexablau EX7. This would be an interesting card to see depending on the meta. If we have a Galaxy Blue meta, and we might see this guy. If we have a Green Imperial Dramon, we might see this guy. But other than that, I don't think we're going to see a lot of this guy, and that could cause his price to go down even further and make it more, make it again more viable that you would pick up this card just because its price was so high. I think, like I said, when I got these, I think they were like 20 to 25, and so I got a really good price on them, and before they shot up there. And you can just see it, they got kind of peaks and valleys of going up and going down, and 52, and now it's back down, 49. And if we look at the amount of copies, there's a lot of copies on the market, but it doesn't take long for it to start going up. 55, 57, 60. This card could definitely see a buyout again, and it would be back up there, and all the progress of the price coming down would be gone. It all just depends on how the meta unfolds, and if there's a lot of decks that play Hexablau in it, which I feel like there could be not a lot, unless we have a lot of Galaxy representation. I just don't know if we'll see him that much. Digimon is another card that's seen a bit of a price hike. This one's more on the reasonable side of things, around $20. Hunters has been popular in discussion. It'll be nice to see if Hunters is able to take a top 16 spot. Maybe this will get a little bit worse, so maybe right now is the time to get these before they go up too high. It's an older card, so I mean, you got a couple copies, and then you're up to 25, 30, 35, and then sold out. So I could definitely see if Hunters makes a good showing at the next regionals, I could see this going up even more. And then, of course, another one is Tagiro. Tagiro is sitting right now at almost $20. Last sold was 18, but the market price is still at 10. So it's seen a massive upswing from where it was, and then again, decent amount of copies. So I'm not so not necessarily could see, but if it did see a bit of a buyout, you could be up at $30 in no time, which is funny because the old Tagiro is actually doing worse. It's the new Tagiro from BT21 is doing a lot worse. It's seen its value just drop down all the way to the $12 to $15 range. So it's not doing as good, but which means if you want to play Hunters, I would pick this up now, because if the deck does do good, this will change. It will swing up. The other stuff will swing up. So get your copies while you can. Examon, with the new Examon stuff, I was hoping to see if there would be like more interest in Examon. Seeing here, it did have a bit of a bump here, where it kind of came up 26 all the way to almost 35. But that was March. It was March when we got BT. Yeah, so we got BT20. So this was a little bit after BT20. So probably this was mostly the hype for the X-Antibody. Then we get up here to April, it's its highest. And then after the set releases, that starts to kind of wane. So the excitement for this is just not there. So it's coming back down. So if this is a deck you want to play, because it is a really cool deck, I have actually a deck profile coming up for the channel tomorrow, so you can get to see that. It's definitely coming down, so maybe you get a chance to wait a little bit to see if it drops under 30 again, and then you could pick up some copies. It is an older secret, so be careful because there's limited stuff out there. But there's lots of listings here, so yeah. Could see it go down. Medusamon, the latest Liberator deck from the last set. It's seen a bit of an uptick and then just a drop off too. You can see there, went right down and then shot back up past its original kind of pre-release value, up around 34, and then slowly taking a hit down here. Now staying around 26, 27. Tons of copies. I don't think it's going to go down too much more. Might go down to 25. If you can wait and it goes down to 25, I would say buy it, because you never know with some of these Liberator cards how they're going to go. If they're going to go like way back down, or if they're going to shoot back up, like things like Hexablow and Medieval Gallant. And Necromon, the card I wanted to look at is Necromon. This is a deck I have all the pieces for, but haven't got a chance to build. Obviously, the popularity of this deck wasn't there. I just don't think we had enough support to really make the deck viable, and so I think what's happened here is you've seen that in terms of it dropping off, being like $15 to $20 here. It had a massive drop, and it's just been sitting in that kind of $15 to $20 range for the last while. Again, tons of copies on the market, 3 pages, so you're not going to see a price increase on this anytime soon. So if this is a deck you're interested in, I would pick that up now, because I don't think it's going to go down much. It can really only go up if people start playing the deck and it gets really good. Another card is the Violet card, because it's got the waifu tax on it. So just seeing how like the Violet in boots cards are doing it. It's the exact opposite. It's just like, increase, just slowly increasing, keeping its value up there between $40 and $50, which is nuts. And of course, this does have dual purpose because it's good in the Three Musketeers deck, but this Violet in Boots has actually stayed quite the same price for a while. It had a big spike at the beginning. Again, that's the waifu tax, up to 40. Came back down to kind of the initial stage where it was at, which was the $25-$30 range, and has continued to just kind of putter along in that. So I think right now, if you're interested in this deck, this is the price it's going to be. I don't see it going down. There just seems to be a thing with certain cards where they just don't go down in price. And there is tons of copies on the market, so I don't see it going up anytime soon. Shine Gray. Shine Gray is, has the new support. It's a really good card. Seeing it has seen steady increase for the last little while, just kind of climbing up from the $10 range, because this card has a lot of reprints. But this is my favorite one, and just seeing that steady increase, putting us back up around $20 to $30. Last sold is $30, but the market's at $40. And we look here, all the sales here are $30+. So if you didn't get your copies while they were cheap, while they were $10, $15, you missed your shot. Now you got to decide if, hey, am I going to buy them now, or I'm going to wait to see what happens, and maybe they go up even more depending on how the regionals and the Ultimate Cups play out. So that'll be your kind of question here. I think, like $32. I think I paid originally like 40 to 50 when they first came out. So, I mean, you're already making out better than me by buying these at this price. And there's a lot of copies, so I don't see it going. There's a couple copies, a dozen kind of thing like that. So could see a buyout if things were to, go really good for Shine Gray. But again, we'll have to wait for those regionals results, see where that goes. But if you can get it for 32, that's not a bad price, especially when it's got an upward trajectory. A little bit of a level off here, but we don't have enough information to see where that's going to go from there. And of course, in the same aspect, there's Marcus. This card's still priced pretty high. It's like all over the place, like a yo-yo here. It's like a heartbeat here. You can see the pricing. Just kind of going high, low, back to middle, and then a bit of a drop, and then a bit of a kick up here. Boss sale is 35, market price 30. There's a bunch of copies. There's a couple copies at. Really, this could see a buyout in no time at all. So just 2 sales, and then you're getting up to $40. So again, if Shine Gray does good, I would expect to see this card shoot up in price into the $40 range pretty easily. And then lastly, we're looking at Machinedramon from EX1. And the reason we're doing this is we just got the reveal for EX9 of a new Machinedramon card. It is the secret of the set. It is number 73, which is exactly what it was in EX1. So just looking to see if there's any hype building yet around this. There might not be any, because the whole point of the new stuff is to move away from that old stuff. But it does have a lot of synergy with the level 5 aspect of the Machinedramon deck, that the new one. So I'm just trying to see, is there any hype building up for this? Just because, do you think it's going to move the needle? This has slowly been going down now. It's like under $20 as a EX1 secret. And there's lots of copies on the market, and the price is not going to go up anytime soon. So unless, of course, people start buying a lot of them, because of hype reasons. So right now, this card is probably not going to move the needle, and the new support's not going to move the needle on this at the current moment. But you never know what could happen, so you want to keep an eye on it, because if it does become, hey, we're going to play this in the new Machinedramon deck, we're going to play that, and it potentially, then people start buying copies, and then it goes up. So right now, if this is a card you really like, and you think you would want to try the new Machinedramon support, and you think you'd want to try this in it, I think it'd be a perfect time to pick up some copies. But that's all we have for for a market analysis. Those are the prices, guys. That's what we came up with. Tell us what you guys think. Do you think we got a good selection here? Do you think we missed some stuff? We're still waiting for like I said, the regionals results to really define what our meta is going to be in this new BT21 format, and then we will have an idea of what cards are going to start going up and what cards are maybe going to get a little bit cheaper. And of course, we're going to have more reveals for EX9 and then into BT22, which is going to provide us with information about hype on certain other cards. And we're going to be covering more tournament cards as things go on. Evolution Cups are going to come in June, new tournament kits, and we're going to see a lot of stuff start to change. And of course, we're going to see those tournament event pack and regionals card prices start to plummet even further. But looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video. As always, have a wonderful day. And that's all for now, folks.